So I went to do this help out for the fundraiser, and then when I found out what the fundraiser was for, it was for,
Living as a wife and a mother of two.
and I was like, you know what, this worked out brilliantly, and I want to do a lot more stuff with NAMI.
Leah Tipley is thriving as a wife and a mother of two with a third child on the way. But what people may not see is Tipley has bipolar depression diagnosed in 2015. She spent many years ignoring her warning signs throughout high school and in college.
I thought I was too strong to be depressed, and I learned the hard way. But
Tipley tried to take her own.
And that is the truth, people. Like, I I I had a meeting with my psychiatrist today. You know, now with this new job that I have insurance, I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I am also seeing a therapist, but I had seen this one therapist for about 3 weeks. Not was not working for me. I'm not saying that the therapist was bad. See, what ends up happening is when you go see a therapist, people hold back. Not me. Like, I drop a lot of heavy ass shit on my therapist. And I want my therapist to challenge me. And the therapist, I mean, I get it. It's not that she's bad, but I will drop a lot of heavy ass stuff on my therapist. And instead of like challenging me on things, it's more like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Yeah, I know it sucks. It sucks with a lot of the stuff that I had to go through. But I mean, look, I appreciate that you're listening to me talk about a lot of fucked up stuff that has happened in my life. But I don't need you to go, oh, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am so oh. No, I don't want that. Yeah, Fozzie. So I know that you're joking. Fozzie says you want your therapist to call BS. It's not that what I'm saying is BS, but I want my therapist to at least challenge me a little bit, kind of hold my feet to the fire somewhat. I just don't need some empathetic ear and just somebody, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't need that. I don't need that at all. So my psychiatrist is getting me a new therapist. Also, by the way, the therapist I've been seeing is over this telehealth. So it's like I'm on a web camera talking to somebody. No, I'm sorry. I think there is a big difference in therapy over a webcam and stuff. Because when you're in the same room with somebody, you can actually you can feed off of somebody's energy. That's the way that I think. That's the way that I think it is. Fozzie, thank you. Great use of the start stop. The Jolly Gator, Mike Love, permanent holiday. Mike Love, anything from Mike Love is therapy and music. Man, I promise you, I'll have to check that out. Deadhead CTT says, we miss you on the Bubba Show. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I was a part of this fundraiser, and it's great because they're doing great work. Wait, why is this not running? Hold on.
own life in 2014 at 25 years old.
And the Jolly Gator, call me. 407-270-3044.
Because I truly felt and believed that the world was a better place without me. And that is something that is not true. But unfortunately, this disease makes you truly feel that way.
Georgia.
But she sought the help she realized she needed and is now advocating for people to do the same. Tipley is not alone. Hundreds of people laced up their sneakers for a 5K walk on Saturday, raising money for Jacksonville's chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI Jacksonville.
Look at that. All right. So do you see this little arch here, this blue arch where it says start? Myself and Vulture and his son were pitting this up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of you guys are like, oh, how hard can that be? I got to tell you, pretty fucking hard. Pretty hard. Because this thing only gets used once a year. And that little start thing there, you know, when you blow it up, you can't adjust it because the air pressure makes it so tight you can't pull it around. I mean, we ended up getting it, and I think it turned out really good. And I know, like, I shouldn't be overexcited that myself and my producer Vulture and his son were able to put up this little start finish line blow up thing, but we did. We did. Oh, Fozzie, you did. I'm glad you brought that up, Fozzie. If you will, if you didn't anchor it down properly, you are fizzucked. Yes, you are. We had plenty of sandbags. I had competing anchors. I had pulling to and from on both sides. Had it working well. The guide wires that I had it tied down with, I put up balloons. I hung balloons off of the ropes. So it was not a hazard where somebody would trip over the line or clothesline themselves. Had balloons all up. I covered everybody's asses. I did. Fozzie liked the bounce houses that would blow away all the time with kids inside. No, this thing was not. This start finish blow up line was not going anywhere at all.
Executive Director Suzanne Mayu says that money will go to the
I'm a big fan of Suzanne. What up, Suzanne?
Executive Director Suzanne Mayu
Yeah, Suzanne
says that money will go to the 10 different programs that the organization offers to those living with mental health conditions and their families. Resources like support groups and education courses are all free. The goal for NAMI Jacksonville with this...
Look at that. See those balloons? I hung those balloons over there. If you look off of his right shoulder there, because there is a guideline. If you look, there's a guideline going down to some sandbags. I was like, I'm not going to let anybody sue this nonprofit. I put up balloons there. And this guy, he came out.
5K walk and run today, which raised about $85,000 for those programs. Programs Thelmisha Kaysen knows work. Kaysen has an adult son who has a mental health condition. She wants to end the silence and break all of the stigmas.
Individuals become more comfortable with seeking the help because no one is behind their bikes talking about them or making fun of them or saying negative.
All right, so hold on, let me
Negative comments about them.
This also comes as...
All right, so that is one of the big things about mental illness. I'm not saying anybody's mental illness is worse than anybody else's, but there is a stigma. All right, so being a man in the South, being a Southern gentleman, There is a stigma. If you come out, and I don't want anybody to think I'm ever saying anything bad about my parents, my mom, or my dad. But like, if you, Gen X, Generation X in the 90s, if you went to your parents and said, "Oh, I'm depressed," what do you got to be depressed about? What do you got to be? Just be happy. What do you got to be depressed about? You just have to go to school and do this and do that. You ain't got to pay bills. Just, you're a man. Be happy. There is that stigma that a lot of men, especially in the South, they will not seek help. And that's kind of what happened to me. I self-medicated. I was drinking and drugging it up, taking all types of drugs and everything. It's just, that's the way that it is. Thank you, Fozzie. Fozzie, you should get an Emmy with your start-stop work tonight, kid. A lot of people think that, they might not be a fan of Fozzie, but Fozzie knows talk radio. He knows the insides and out of the business. And he recognized game recognizes game.
More people are putting access to health care for mental health as priorities. According to a perception survey called the Harris Poll, the number of people who thought they had a mental condition jumped to 67% this year. That's a 10% increase from 2018. There's also a push for people to be more aware of any possible warning signs, as that same poll shows that 1 in 3 people feel they can tell when someone is considering suicide. There's not only a plea for people to seek help, but one for more mental health professionals, including licensed behavioral clinicians and trained counselors. The Rural Health Information Hub.
My psychiatrist, she graduated from the University of Alabama. She's a big Crimson Tide fan. With all my family growing up in Gainesville, that it's like, Nick Saban. You want to know what I found laughable? That Nick Saban, he's always been known to be tough on his players and stuff. He was on the Today Show talking with Hoda Kotb about, how it's important that we need to make sure about the mental health of college football players. And I'm like, is this the same Nick Saban that just is up every player's asshole nonstop? I've seen Nick Saban win 52-7, and he'll still find a way to bitch and complain about how his players didn't play hard enough. And he's out there talking about, we got to worry about players' mental health and stuff. Proof is in the pudding. Look at how many natties, national championships Saban has won.
Hub says there is a shortage of professionals nationwide. Florida needs more than 382 more practitioners to end the state shortage. Through it all, Tipley believes there is hope, and most importantly, there is help.
It's okay to talk about it, that you're not alone.
Reporting, I'm Aaron Farrar, Channel 4, the local station.